Hello and welcome to my review of the character Luz in The Crown of Smoke, the second in the Shadowscent duology by PM Freestone. Luz is the best character I have read in a long time. Fight me. There will be major spoilers in this video for the climax in the previous book and also for this one too. Luz is unlike any other character I have read recently. They are unlike any other character in this duology, but they're also unlike any other character in other books I've read. They're very calculating and analytical, but they're also very caring. And above all, Luz is logical. They take absolutely no prisoners when something or someone goes against the logical scenario in a situation. Oh my god, the wind! If Luz were a Dungeons and Dragons character, they would probably be lawful neutral. Luz is also very caring, but I don't think that that's from a desire to provide care. It's from a desire to do the logical thing in the situation. And as long as people or situations don't clash with Luz's pledge to the god Asmodtag, they're quite happy. And my favourite thing about Luz is that they're always 5 steps ahead, even when they're drunk. There was a moment when Luz was drunk and doing something stupid, and I was like, you're gonna regret that later. The next bloomin' chapter, Luz is like, oh yeah, I did that thing, and that was for this thing. And then you realise that actually, even when drunk, Luz is still more steps ahead than I could ever be when I'm trying to be ahead. And also, Luz has really great dry humour, which, as a British person who loves a bit of dry humour, that is right up my alley. Luz first appears in The Darkest Bloom, kind of at the beginning, and helps Raquel out of a sticky situation. And we don't see Luz again until the end of The Darkest Bloom when, dun da da da, Luz is actually also Zacharias, who is the chief perfumer to the king. So we've got this chief perfumer, almost royalty character, with this random character who skulks about in dungeons, and they're the same. And this is a huge moment in the end of The Darkest Bloom where a whole bunch of unconnected threads get pulled together, and then The Crown of Smoke starts on Luz's point of view. And the rest of The Crown of Smoke alternates between Luz, Raquel, and Ash. I also marked all of Luz's chapters because they're my fave and they show up 12 times. So from the get-go in The Crown of Smoke, Luz is a really important protagonist. But towards the middle of the book, Luz flips and almost becomes an antagonist to the characters because their secret job is to deal with people like Ash who are cursed before they can do any harm. And Luz becomes this integral part in stopping the Shadow War, which is the main conflict that is running through The Crown of Smoke. I forgot there was a map in here. So there's a moment at the very beginning of the book, page 6, where Raquel cannot deal with Luz because Luz is a woman and the character that Luz also plays within the story is Zacharias, who is a man, and Raquel cannot process this. So Luz explains. I give a slow shrug. You want to know the words to refer to me with. While many read Zacharias as he, for me the closest would be they. Full stop. She, they, I'm comfortable with fluidity, and in the eyes of divine Asmodtag, both are simply part of the all. She ponders my words, then nods, as if that is that, which is a good thing, given the road ahead. So that quotation for me makes it very clear that Luz identifies as non-binary and their pronouns are they, them. But then Freestone continues to refer to Luz as a she all the way through the book. But then when Luz represents themselves as Zacharias, suddenly their pronouns shift to they, them. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about, because that seems to go directly against what Luz has told us is true. So I apologise if I slip up and refer to Luz as she, because the whole book, Luz is a she. But they're not, Luz is a they. Luz is the only reason that we have a story here. Luz is the catalyst behind everything. Raquel and Ash, yeah, they're the ones that go off and do this stuff, but without Luz giving them clues, without Luz helping them, without Luz doing all this stuff, they would have been hopeless. They're hopeless pretty much the whole way through and get there and figure things out through luck. And it's only because Luz was prepared that anything actually happens. By page 2, I liked Luz. By page 15, I was in love. Freestone somehow managed in that very tiny section of story to make me fall in love with this character and to present a character who was multifaceted, who was really interesting, had lots of depth, was really dynamic, and really adapted with every situation that could be thrown at them. So, hats off to you, Freestone. And I really love that Luz is so clear thinking and analytical, but is also very considerate without the need for being effusive and over the top. Because I really, those characters exhaust me. And there were one or two really subtle moments that Freestone just dropped through that helped round Luz out as a character, that just gave them so much more depth than any of the other characters that we experienced. Side note, Luz smells like violets and is essentially a spy master. But wasn't Varys in the Game of Thrones also always described as smelling of violets? Luz is so self-possessed, but without being cocky. They know exactly what their limitations are, they know exactly what their skills are, and they have, it's the rain now, and that is really made apparent when Luz is having a conversation with one character. I don't trust Sirith. She's far too ambitious to be trusted, but she's smart enough to be useful. Very useful. A kind of knockoff version of someone else I know. Someone for whom I have the utmost respect. Me. It's so refreshing to read about a person who loves themselves. Which is sad, really. Can you hear the thunder? Glad I'm not a duck right now. And in that same conversation, Luz learns a new little piece of information, and they're so happy, but they don't run off with it. They listen and they're happy that it corroborates a previous piece of information they had. And it's so interesting to read about a character who doesn't rush headlong into things, who doesn't let emotion or ego or whatever else ruin perfectly laid plans. But Freestone puts Luz and Ash into conflict. And because of Ash's curse, he is on the opposite side to Luz, who is fighting to end this curse, which essentially means that they need to kill Ash. And I really wanted to hate Luz for trying to hurt my cinnamon roll, but I couldn't. And I wanted to keep loving Ash, but he was so angry all the time and he was ruining everything. And I almost felt like I was the child in the middle of a really messy divorce because I wanted to love them both, but I just couldn't. So hats off to you, Freestone, for creating a character who I fell in love with and then using them against me. Thanks. Thank you for watching this review of the character Luz in The Crown of Smoke, the second in the Shadowscent duology by PM Freestone, and I will see you in my next review, which will be The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. But until that point, I'll speak to you in the comments.